Hi everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today. This is part 2 of our webinar series on Dynamics 365. Part 1 was last week on the opportunity on Dynamics 365, and today we're reading more on the action plan for building your CRM practice. I am Cyril Couret, Product Manager here at ShareWeb for the Business Application Portfolio, and today I have a special guest, Rick McCutcheon, that is Dynamics 365 CRM MVP and social selling expert. Before going and jumping in the subject, a few words about ShareWeb because most of you are brand new according to the name I can see here. So ShareWeb, we are an added value cloud distributor. We are in business for more than 20 years. We were a partner ourselves, really focusing on productivity. We were hosting services, and when the cloud come, we were part of the first partner actually running software as a service hosted exchange. And then Microsoft came with this great CSP channel, and we jump in, and now with our 7,000 partner, we are the biggest reseller of Office 365 in Canada and in the top 5 in US. Being a partner ourselves, we understand that it can be hard sometimes to develop your portfolio and adding new products, and we are keeping this vision of simplifying the cloud. So we are really an extension of our reseller team. Webinar like this to help you understand the opportunity, understand the product, but after actually helping you to sell, jumping on calls, bringing experts, helping you in implementation and support, really being your partner to be successful in the cloud solution. In terms of portfolio, to be more concrete, in productivity, we are reselling the Microsoft solution Office 365, but we are also reselling Google G Suite. We provide infrastructures through Azure and through our own infrastructure as a service platform, so providing virtual machine, virtual servers and services. In the business apps portfolio, we are offering Dynamics 365, Nimble CRM, that is a simple CRM, and Quick Help, that is all about driving the adoption and the learning of the different application. We are reselling voice solution, backup, security, and so on. What your business and your end customer business need to drive and modernize that in being the cloud. That's enough about ShareWeb. Really, let's jump in the subject. Today's agenda, like we said last week, we really ran through what is the opportunity, what could be the return of investment, what you should understand. And today we're in the action plan of this. So we'll review what is the return of investment, how to bring that to your customers, what are the basics that build up an offer, so the licensing, services, hardware, how to actually build your practice, what is the ecosystem around it, and how to get started with this journey. We'll go quickly on what are the ShareWeb prepackaged services that you can leverage to go faster to market, and what is the partner-to-partner program that we are running. And of course, we'll take time for all your questions, so don't hesitate. Send your question during the session. I'll do my best to answer them. And after, when we're done, Rick and I can spend more time and having an open discussion. That being said, I will introduce you to Rick McCutcheon that will drive us through this presentation. Hey, Rick, how are you?
Good morning, Cyril. How are you today?
Really good, thank you.
Great. Well, I'm very excited about working with ShareWeb on this series of webinars about building your Dynamics 365 customer engagement / CRM practice. I personally think that this has never been a better time to build one of these practices, just because the product has matured to a point where it's very, very strong. And secondly, the CRM market, as we talked about last week, has really gone mainstream, and it's the fastest growing, marketplace within business applications. And the third part is really Microsoft's commitment to what we call the Power Apps, Power Platform, which Dynamics is built on. So it allows you to expand, these types of offerings right across the enterprises we work with. And then again, last week we talked about this digital transformation journey and why it's important for partners to kind of move out of the infrastructure space, and I think more into the business application space. So a little bit of my background: I've been a Dynamics CRM MVP for 6 years now, and for those not familiar, that's Microsoft's most valuable professional designation. There's about 85 of us worldwide for this category. I also have a very unique practice, so I spend a lot of my time teaching and writing now. And most of that time is helping partners develop their practice. So I work with both SI, system integration partners, on building out their, a lot of times, first Dynamics 365 practice. And I work with a lot of ISVs, independent software vendors, who want to enter our space and build add-on products for Microsoft business applications. So besides speaking, I do some work at a series of startup incubators as well, which kind of keeps me current with social marketing and really looking at a lot of new technology. So overall, I think we're in a really exciting space for business apps. So let's just talk about, how do we get you going, and how you can build that practice.
Rick, just before continuing on the subject, a couple of questions, if you're okay, just to survey who we have today, and better understand who are those guys. So you're going to see on your screen a couple of questions. First one is, do you have any skills with Dynamics? So here we're interested to know if you have skills, if it's more on the CRM, on the ERP, or if you don't have any skills today. Giving you a couple of seconds. Okay, so we already got 3/4 of the answer. So today it's interesting. Actually, 60% of the attendees have CRM skills, and 30% don't have dynamic skills, and the other 10s have ERP skills. That's interesting. Second question, do you currently sell CRM or ERP solutions? No, I don't. Yes, CRM. Yes, ERP. Okay, so like previous webinar, actually, it's interesting. We get people that they have skills, but they don't resell the solution. So maybe they have skills in CRM, but not Dynamics. That could be the explanation. I can see a way more CRM than ERP again. So final result is 50% don't resell CRM or ERP, 40% resell CRM, and a 10 for ERP. Are you planning to add CRM ERP to your practice? So that's really for the one that they don't resell today. If you already resell, don't answer. You can answer, but really the idea is that what kind of product you think you're going to resell. Okay, that's interesting. So it's a 75% are thinking to resell CRM, for only 25% are thinking to resell ERP. And some of you, they say no, they don't want to add your practice. So probably means that you need to be convinced, and that's good. You are in the right place. And final question, and we jump on the, no, actually, let's keep like that. Rick, we can start from him, or we're going to keep the last question for the end of the session. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, and Cyril, also remind the people that if they have a question during the session, they can just add it in the chat box, and we'll answer any questions at the end.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to our presentation, and it's all about the ROI on customer relationship management. And it's very, very exciting, because when I talk to companies about this, and we're going to come back to the end about talking to executives, it's not the value of the CRM. It's not well, I can't say it's not the value of the process people work with, because it is. At the end of the day, it's the value of the data. If you don't use a CRM product today, most companies will have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of their data floating around, right? Whether that's in Excel, whether it's in Outlook, whether it's in contact managers, whether it's in line of business applications they use. And CRM is really the place to bring all that information together to cause to really increase that ROI and make the value of CRM worth millions to many organizations. So it's the foundation for new business development, the foundation for account management, foundation for customer service, foundation for project services, any field service implementations. It's a foundation. And another thing people forget about, a lot of our customers work through resellers. We have a lot of resellers on the call today, but our customers also have their partner channels, and there's a lot of really good applications within Dynamics to help them better manage their partners. So if we start to pull back and start to look at the value of all this data, it's worth a lot of money. And the funny thing is, it's not worth very much if it's in siloed systems, because we can't get to it, we can't work with it. And with the type of AI tools we have, available today and really coming down the pike, there's a lot of tools that we're going to be able to use within our business to understand what we're doing, but we need to get that data into one place where we can use it, where it's serviceable. So keep that in mind, that there's a huge value that we're giving people implementing CRM for them. So what about Microsoft Dynamics? So in Cyril, in his poll, there was a few people out there who know CRM but don't know Dynamics. So they're probably, out, reselling another CRM product. Well, that's great, but I think there's a big story here for Dynamics. And I think Microsoft's done a tremendous job really over the last 5 years integrating Dynamics with the rest of the suite. So if we look at Office 365, we're fully integrated today with Dynamics. If we look at Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, and what we call the Common Data Service, that allows us to extend it to other applications or build applications for companies and bring that data back into Dynamics. We can look at some other areas as well. The core of Dynamics, which is the sales, the customer service, the field service, and things on AppSource. So AppSource, I'll talk a little bit about it later, but that's where third-party companies can add their ISV products and solutions, and there's hundreds of them up there today on AppSource, and build a big reseller business from that. And last, the reporting, Cortana Intelligence, Power BI, Azure Apps. I mean, it's almost endless, where you can take your customers today when you build a platform for them on Dynamics. So let's go and talk a little bit more specifics about sort of getting started and what you can do. What I find, very, very interesting is when we sell a Dynamics license. In my world, CRM, I know we're talking a little bit about ERP today, but I've always been a CRM person. What are the services built around CRM that we can actually engage with a customer after they buy the license? Well, if we look at business analysis, process design, configuration services, data services, integrations, mobility, portals, reporting, social marketing, coaching and training services, ongoing support, Power Platform, ISV solutions, there's a big dollar there. And this is, I like the graphic we've put up there of the iceberg. The small piece on the top is what we see right away, licenses, some service, and some hardware, but there's an ongoing spend. When we talk to Microsoft Dynamics partners about what that ongoing spend is, I've had quite a few conversations in different groups. And I think we can safely say there's $5 to maybe as much as $20 worth of the extended services, available for every dollar they spend on Dynamics 365 customer engagement. So it gives customers a platform to build on, and they can keep building it out throughout their, across their organization. So I think from a partner perspective, building a practice is a smart thing, because there's going to be ongoing business from Dynamics. The second piece, it makes all the other applications and services you sell them what we call stickier, right? If you're the ongoing partner that helps them with all these other type projects, then they're not going to move your Office 365 licenses to another provider. That would be too difficult. So when we decide that we're in the opportunity of Dynamics 365 as a practice, what do we do? You know, we're going to talk a little bit about P2P later on. Cyril's going to come back and talk about the services SureWeb offer that can help you get started. But if you're going to build your own practice, and this is what I'm hoping everybody out there would like to do, you're going to decide, you know, where to go and how to do it. And I break it into two pieces: a systems integration partner and what we call an ISV partner. And we have many partners out there today that are hybrids. We have many partners today that start out as SI partners and move to ISV partners. So let's drill into what this means to our business to be able to do that. If I'm going to be a systems integration partner, then really I can focus on some different areas of expertise, and there's many. So when I talk about sales and marketing, you know, my practice is, my company's called Full Contact Selling, is really sales and marketing. So we'll come into a company and we'll look at the processes around sales, the processes around marketing, and help them strategically do the change management a company requires to be able to move that from a lot of times a manual system into a system where we're using, you know, CRM, marketing automation, web type services together. So I've kind of built an SI around sales and marketing. But there's many partners that, you know, do sales and marketing, but they also do customer service, where they'll start to specialize in integrating Dynamics into call centers, integrating Dynamics into customer service teams, into retail teams, and those. So it almost becomes endless, and you can almost pick where your practice is today. If you have a bunch of retailers out there that you're servicing today, focus on how you can you know, start to service Dynamics in that area. On the ERP side, there's many opportunities here, because on the Dynamics 365, we have you know, the F&O, which is the enterprise that came out of the AX world for the big customers, and we have the Business Central, which came out of the NAV product group, which is really for the SMB and mid-market customers. So ERP is a rapidly expanding business line for Dynamics, as people are really saying, we want to get rid of siloed data, we want to move it all into one. And the last one down here I'll talk about is field service. Like, if you want to become a field service provider, that's a specialty expertise within Dynamics, where you're doing, you know, delivery people, where you're doing service people, where you're doing inspectors and that type of stuff. There's a mobile piece to it. There's a customized piece to it. That area is growing at a tremendous rate, and it's only going to get bigger. And we talked about this in our last sessions, where we have connected IoT, the Internet of Things, which is all going to, you know, really connect back to Azure services and connect back to Dynamics to feed field services. So lots of potential business in all these areas. So, you know, you can just choose to take the products off the shelf, customize them, and deliver them to your customers, right? And it's a big business to be able to do that. Or we're seeing a lot of customers right now start to say, okay, how do I take advantage of the big worldwide spend here on Dynamics, right? It's growing, it's getting bigger. Maybe I'm going to take my sort of commitment level to that next area and say, okay, let's find out more about connected IoT. Let's find out more about, you know, the field service management market, and let's kind of build something specifically for that. And that's what we're going to talk about next, as how do partners start to look at other opportunities, you know, sitting outside traditional services that allow them to go out and, you know, build something around this global IoT middleware market, which is expected to grow to 19.5 billion by 2023 from 6.9 billion this year. So lots of things going on, lots of opportunity all the way. And this is why I want to talk today about, maybe you're going to start in a specialty area. Maybe you're going to have some clients that are going to bring you there, but I think eventually you're going to want to become this ISV partner. And as an ISV partner, you're taking your IP, your intellectual property that you build for one customer, and now you can start to build it for multiple customers and start to develop it as a product. And Microsoft gives us a place to be able to do that on Microsoft AppSource. And as you get farther along in understanding what AppSource is and how you can leverage it, there's actually programs where other partners can resell, customers can buy direct, or now we have what we call a sell with program with the Microsoft field sellers who actually have within their quota the ability to go in and grab your products and resell them as part of even the initial offering to customers for Dynamics. So lots of big opportunities coming out of there. And if we look, there's lots of opportunities to build applications. So we're getting many things like application extensions. And I think of a company like North 52 out of Ireland that does a very high programming language for Dynamics, where we may have multiple fields where we have to do some theories and mathematics on and really, you know, drill into some data. So they have a higher end product to be able to do that. I look at, you know, application connectors, and most of us have heard of Scribe and Kingsway Soft and applications like that just connect Dynamics to other products. And then we have what we call workload verticals. And I know Resco is a mobile provider that does an inspection tools. And then we have many industry verticals where people are starting to build actually applications for pharmaceutical, applications for distributors, applications for commercial real estate. And you can find them up on AppSource as applications you can buy and solutions that you can add to your Dynamics. So as I'm building a practice, you know, we may start as an SI, or we may start as partner to partner, move to SI, and then maybe move to ISV in the future. And this is why, you know, I said earlier, you know, it's never been a better time to be able to become a Dynamics partner, because the opportunities and the number of directions that you can take your business is really bigger than it's ever been before. And I want to just talk a little bit about a case study that I've done a lot of work with, a company called iTrack out of Calgary. And what iTrack is a health and safety application. So they actually built a very sophisticated workload application, sits on top of Dynamics. Well, they started out as a NAV ERP partner, and they were doing NAV projects, mostly in Alberta, a lot of oil field work. And then they decided to get into, well, let's add CRM to it, Dynamics 365. They added Dynamics 365 and started to see more and more opportunities within the oil patch. And they started to create a separate application that used the common data service in Dynamics 365 to really become a health and safety application that actually runs on a tablet. Now they've moved it to AppSource, and iTrack is selling this application globally. In fact, you know, they've spun off their NAV and CRM practice, and their business today is global. They're in the oil patch, they're in mining, they're in forestry. They sell on AppSource, and they're actually participating in the Sell With program with Microsoft today. And this all happened, I'd say, in maybe a 5, 6, 7 year time frame from when they decided to build a product and to put it on AppSource, and now to take it globally. So go look at them on the web, look at their application, but they're a really good case study of how a company can start out as an ERP solutions integration company and end up with a global product in a very, very short time, selling into a very, very big market. So how do we get going? And if you're just new to CRM, I don't expect you to figure out what product and build an ISV application. What I think you're going to do is you're going to have to go out and start having this digital transformation conversation with your customers. Find out where they're taking their business. Find out what their challenges are today. Find out what they feel about their competition. And that conversation is going to tell you where to take your business. Forget about net new prospects. Go out and talk to your existing customers. Go out to talk to C-level management, CEO, CIO, CMO, CFO, and ask them where their industry is going in the next 5 to 10 years. Ask them what type of information systems will they need to drive their business forward. If we're relying on accounting data and looking backwards at our business to say, okay, how did we do last quarter? How did we do the last 3 quarters? That's fine. But we really need to start looking at strategic data that start to forecast our business forward, look at who we're running into as competitors, understand how our customers are going to want to integrate with their customers and how they're going to want to communicate in the future. That's that C-level management conversation. Go out and talk to the sales and marketing leadership. Find out what they're up against. And I do a series of webinars on, the digital transformation of B2B selling. And I got to tell you, sales and marketing is under a lot of pressure in B2B. The way the customer is buying in B2B has drastically changed in the last 5 years. And many companies aren't ready with the technology so customers can self-service. So customers can communicate with them through chat, can communicate with them through text, can communicate with them through a call center. They're just not set up for that. Customer service. Well, I tell you, the world of customer service has changed over the last, 15 to 20 years. There's no longer calling a 1-800 number and waiting for a return call. Customer service agents need to be connected. They need to be connected all the time, and they have to monitor things like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and other social media to say who's communicating with us through all these other social services. Field services, I talked a lot about that. The connected IoT. Go out and find out which one of your customers are going to be affected by that. Supply chain and operations. This is almost an endless piece of work, understanding how they're going to have to integrate with their supply chain going forward. Human resources. How are they going to hire people? How are they going to attract people? How are they going to retain people in the future? This absolutely has to do with digital transformation. If they're manufacturers, I'm sure they're well down the road in the digital transformation conversation. And again, go back to IT and say, okay, guys, what pressure are you under? What changes are you going to have to make? And I know as partners, a lot of times we start at information technology and work our way out. What I'm suggesting you do today is start at the C-level management of your best customers, go out and take them, buy them lunch, and ask them about that digital transformation. And you may be surprised at the change they understand they're going to need to take their businesses through in the next few years. And then how do we get started with D365? So we're going to go and have this conversation. How can we get started? Well, I really like working with SureWeb because they're doing a great job of putting this partner program together with these partner-to-partner services. And over the last year, I've had several leads come in from SureWeb asking me to come in and help some of the partners with planning, right? Their initial project, how do we do this? How do we have that conversation? And I've done that quite a few times. And I think it's really, really effective because you're not on your own. Right? And there's a whole partner network that Cyril's going to be talking to. Go out, begin to have that digital transformation conversation with your customers, with the people that you are the trusted advisor for. And number 3, start using D365 CRM in your own business. Run your sales and marketing, run your customer service, run your reporting, put it up on Power BI. You're not only going to you really build an infrastructure for your own business, you're going to learn these applications so you can start your own practice, be able to take what you've done internally and start servicing other companies. So leverage the SureWeb B2B programs to start, P2P programs to start, and then the leverage the SureWeb prepackaged services and get a few projects under your belt, and then you can decide, hey, do I want to open this practice? Do I want to sort of get out there, put my shingle out there? Do I work within a vertical that I can build an ISV application? And things will become much clearer for you. So I'm going to turn it back over to Cyril, and he's going to take you through a few more slides, and then we'll be here to answer your questions.
That's good. Thank you, Rick. You can already start, guys, to send us your question through the question section. Don't be shy. We have time actually to cover those questions, so feel free to ask them. And thank you, Rick. I think it's a very good what you presented in terms of practice and what you just said. Yeah, you know, start to get some of those projects, start to get those discussion on. And if you think about it, there is really actually two ways to sell Dynamics. You know, you could have this position where you stay a reseller, or you could go all in. And like Rick, you gave very good example of some business that they really transformed. They became SI, or they became software integrator, or they became ISV themselves. You know, but the first one, and anyway, will be always the step number one. Start to resell. So bring the subject, start the discussion with your customer. For small business, actually, I'm going to present that, but we have some onboarding offer, prepackaged services that you can easily position and start the discussion. Then after, for custom project, what we strongly recommend, bring an expert in the discussion. So ShareWeb can help you doing the discovery. We have technicians that they are skilled, but we don't go on custom project. We don't go on this ongoing discussion because it won't scale. And this is really, we've seen that in part one. CRM is forever, you know, once a company start to invest in it, they want more, they start to modernize the business, they want more, and it's an ongoing project. That's great for ongoing services, ongoing question coming, so that's perfect. But ShareWeb will position more as a facilitator, finding you the right partner. And on building the practice, really, let us know what you want to do. We can connect you if it's complex. If your product is pretty much complex and need more assistance, we can plug you with Rick, really going on what would be your journey to build your practice. We could maybe position ShareStep program, that is a program from Microsoft that really help you transform actually your business, rethink your package. We can really assist you with what are the right trainings to follow, what are the right competency, and so on and so on. So that's really step two. That is a bigger commitment, that is build your practice. I'm thinking that's a good idea to show you a bit in terms of licensing what is Dynamics 365. And just for you to understand the pricing, understand the different type of user. We're not going to spend too much time on that. Those discussions can be pretty long. There is a lot of scenarios, but be sure ShareWeb is here to help you on licensing. And actually, I'm pretty confident to say that we are really few vendors that understand licensing and can really help you to be compliant and offer the best solution. So don't hesitate if you have any question. In Dynamics 365, you're really two big family that are the customer engagement and the unified operations. So depending of what workload you want to cover, you can go all in with the Dynamics 365 plan, or you can go more specific on covering customer engagement features or more ERP features. And within those plans, you can even decide that if you use a single workload, so let's say you just have sales using opportunity management, your user could go gradually on one application. Or your technician could be only on customer service, and those guys that they are over different workload actually could get plans. The big numbers you see, they are for full user. They're really for user leveraging all the capabilities of the solution. If you are a team member, if you are someone that just needs read access, is what they call a team members. And if you think about it, that was a big issue in all the CRM solution and ERP solution I've seen. Licensing, it's an investment, so logic things is that you're going to limit number of users, but that's a very big mistake. When you get a CRM, when you get data in a common place, you know, you want all your organization actually getting access to those data. And the team member is perfect. It's a very cheap license, and you get a lot of capability around that. And actually getting all your business connected is the one that makes sense. So that's really for the part called Dynamics 365 customer engagement. Second part of the licensing is what they call Business Central. It's all-in-one product. For the one coming from the Dynamics world, this is the NAV on steroid that they put it online. Okay, so what we hear for a couple of years on the new Dynamics, it's really Business Central. It's focusing on finance, distribution, kind of ERP workload. There again, a team member for read access, that's really cheap. And after you go on essential, that is almost everything you need, and premium if you need actually manufacturing and service management features. If you have any question, you don't hesitate, you write to us. We can jump on a call, showing all those things, showing you all the licensing. It's a big monster, but as you've seen, it's very premium SKU. It's very interesting compared to a $20 SKU that Office 365 is. So very interesting opportunity to resell those solutions. In prepackaged services, so like we presented, if you are new to Dynamics 365, can be hard sometimes to start the discussion. So we have this catalog of services. Just to give you an example, here it's a Business Central Finance Pack that you can see on the screen. Suggested price, it's about $4,000 US. And here what it includes. So the general setup, the training, the navigation, creating the user, creating the security, and so on and so on. You can also see on the screen kind of different package we have. The approach here is really helping you to have those basic discussion, helping you to feel free to contact us. We can jump on a call with you during the discovery, position the package, and customers and let's say partners that they are not Dynamics skilled like this approach, because you get a pre-scoped service, you have an idea of the price, you know where you go. So it's a very good way to start. But let's be honest, every business is different. Every business has a different vision of what they want to do. And I would say a big chunk of project actually go custom. And say custom means like you really need to understand what are the different workload, different process of the company. And for this kind of project, actually, ShareWeb, once we've done the discovery, we're going to recommend you to work with one of our Dynamics partner. So they are partner just like you, but all they do is Dynamics. Like you, they are ShareWeb partner, they purchase services with us, they leverage our marketing, they leverage everything. So we are both in the same network, we understand each other, we trust each other. And what we're going to do based on your project, based on where you're located, we're going to recommend you partner A, partner B. And the way it's structured, the partner that bring the deals, keep the licensing. Then after, the services will be between you and this expert partner. You decide if you want to be charged by these guys and you're going to add a markup, or if you just refer this partner and they work directly with your customer. That's really, really up to you. We're getting great success with this. We're driving that, I think, for the last 3 years. And actually, we have been recognized as the partner the most active on Dynamics compared to other traditional distribution, let's say. So we're really backed by Microsoft on what we're running on Dynamics. And people like Rick and other MVPs really like to work with us because actually we understand and we want you to be successful on those ones. So we call that the P2P, peer-to-peer, partner-to-partner. Just what you need to remember, it's an extension of your team. So get access to our network. You are a Dynamics partner. Once we know each other, we trust each other, we do a bit of business together, we are really happy to add you in this program. If you are a standard Dynamics standard partner and need help, don't hesitate. And we're going to really make you working with those guys. So I have a question for you before we go on the QA. Actually, I'm going to be the one asking you a question. So we want to understand what we can do to better support you on starting reselling Dynamics. So how we can help you starting reselling CRM, what you actually need, what you are missing today. Is it licensing understanding? Is it you don't know how to bring the subject, bring the discussion? So you have the question section. Start to, over the chat, really decide, start to write down what are the blockers for you going on this journey. And in the meantime, so to give you a couple of seconds to start shooting your question, I'm just going to put it another survey question. And the survey question is, would you like to get in touch with one of our CRM or ERP consultants? So do you want someone from ShareWeb reaching out and maybe you can have the discussion one-on-one? That would be probably faster. So just say yes, no, and we're going to know if we bug you or not. Okay, that's great. So we got a couple of questions, but really don't hesitate. That's the QA time. So really go wild, ask your questions. Someone asked a small question on, I think it was from maybe a previous session, on Nimble CRM. That's a name that we showed last time. So we say that we consider that you should modernize your business, as Rick said, starting leveraging Dynamics 365, running your sales, running your marketing. If Dynamics is, let's say it's a longer process, there is another product called Nimble CRM that is more actually a contact management tool. That could be maybe a first step to start modernizing your business and run it. So that was just to answer pretty quickly. I will put it in the chat. Actually, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to add you in the chat area, the link, so you can get more information on what is Nimble CRM.
So Cyril, I have a question. So
Yep.
one of the biggest challenges when I'm starting new in Dynamics is I don't have a demo environment. Does SureWeb have anybody that can help a partner demo Dynamics to a new prospect?
Yep. So part of our pre-sales team, we have guys that they are trained on Dynamics. They can help to demo. But what we often do actually, once we understand what is the project, we recommend Microsoft videos. So we're going to give you, hey, you should show this and this video, and based on that, let me know if you have question and if we need to go on a custom demo. Because you know, Rick, like demo can be very time consuming. Most of the time you don't get the grocery list. So
Yes.
after an hour and a half, the guy is just saying, you didn't cover what I expect. So we found the video approach pretty good. And after setting a QA with a real environment, that's something that's working pretty well.
Okay. And just for our audience too, like I've been in CRM for over 20 years. We used to have a long sales cycle for CRM. Like I could be talking to somebody for 18 months, 2 years about it. We're finding it's a very short sales cycle now because of videos. A lot of people have gone online, already looked at the different applications. Also, it's more of a mainstream, so people kind of understand that you know what, we do need CRM. I've used it at my other businesses. I have employees asking for it now. So we're actually seeing a very short sales cycle. And we're also seeing a lot of customers who have tried to deploy it but weren't successful, right? They didn't work with a good partner, so they've got it but they're not using it. And those are some of the best customers going forward. If you can help them sort of get that application going and using it internally, you can get the licenses as well. A lot of professional services and ISV applications and things down the road.
Yep. In the question, we got a couple of questions on licensing. Someone just shared the information that planned licensing won't be available after October. It's true, there will be some change announced this fall, as every fall, Dynamics has a big change. So for sure, we keep you updated on what's going on in licensing. Also, some people are asking more on pricing for the deployment. So again, contact your account manager and we can go more in details, sharing the list of those packages, what they include and what kind of pricing. So don't hesitate to contact us. Rick, someone is asking about what will be the target customers for customer engagement and Business Central. It's pretty generic, but maybe if you can give a bit of what kind of customer and what target verticals and so on.
So if we look at, and those are kind of two separate things. So customer engagement can go from, I've actually hooked up 1 or 2 users up to I'm working with a $5 billion manufacturer right now, global manufacturer, who has 5,000 licenses. So it can really, really scale, right, to get just about as big as you want. And it can go into the call centers and the field service. So the customer engagement, because of the common data service can do that. Accounting's a different, a different thing altogether. So if we're looking at Business Central, and I'm not a Business Central expert, I'm a CRM expert. You're really looking at, I think people today that use QuickBook Enterprise, we can go down to that level, and we can go up to, $100 million company, depending on their complexity of accounting and what business they're in. But one thing about, Dynamics, we can start at QuickBooks and go to there. Then they have F&O, which is the higher end, which competes with the Oracle and SAP systems if they have to go farther. So really, you're safe, I think, with any company up to that point that they don't need this global enterprise application with Business Central, and with customer engagement, you're pretty much safe with anybody. And just one note that people are asking about, what are the costs? You're going to find that if you haven't played in this space before, people will spend a lot more money getting their CRM and accounting system, their ERP system, up and running and integrated, right? It's mission critical. They need the data, and a lot of them need customer self-service. They need integration to their websites. They need portals, and their customers are demanding it. Their customers are also starting to demand, 7/24 access. So you'll be surprised once you have that digital conversation, the amount of investment people have put aside to get this done.
Yep. Yeah. We got a question. I think that is more, like you say, you are more CRM expert. But what are the best practice from transitioning a customer from Business Central to unified operation or adding customer engagement? What would you recommend really when someone want to jump from a solution to another? What will be the path? Even if you take away like
they have customer engagement now and they want to add accounting, or
now they will be more Business Central, moving to a more advanced workload that will be F&O, unified operation. Or maybe adding customer engagement.
Again, it becomes very interesting because we've got the Power Apps, which is the platform running on the common data service, which is what CRM runs on, right? Or Dynamics 365 runs on. So once we get them on the platform, there's a lot of room for expansion. It's not like we have to change platforms. Many customers started with customer engagement and build many, many modules right up to the financials of their ERP system, right? So you can kind of choose where you want to build these applications and where you want to build these modules. So really, I think you need to talk to somebody experienced with this, and get some help, maybe with the SureWeb team, to say, okay, what's the customer looking for, and sort of what's the best way to really design this system for them.
Yeah. Question on, it's interesting. So where to get training, and actually what I strongly recommend is the dynamic learning portal. So that's something we can give you information on it. Then after, someone was asking, you could give your answer, Rick, would be interesting. What about certification? How important is to get certified? How important is to get Microsoft competencies?
Well, I think it's important going forward because for your staff, it gives a sort of a career goal to go after, and we're going to see some different changes in the level of partners, ongoing from Microsoft and what certifications you want. But I know, for example, my son is now a Dynamics 365 consultant, and he's actually done 2 of his certifications. He's like 24 years old, and he's actually certified on a couple of ISV programs as well now. So it kind of gives the partner he's working for some goals for him to work on, and I think it becomes more of a personal thing for the people you're working with and being able to get there. I think by integrating these products within your own business, you're going to learn a lot about them. You're going to learn how to work with them. You're going to learn how to administrate them. You're going to learn how to configure them. And then, your people can go out and write these exams, which I think are sort of a great career path for them.
Okay, thank you. Another question I'm trying to see, because some questions are very specific, so I'm answering directly. Okay, if prospecting is not your strength, how can ShareWeb assist you? So really, the way we do it most of the time, we provide you a document to help you doing the discovery, a very basic question, just for you to understand if there is something or not. And after, once you get that, very happy to jump in a call. So we get a bunch of guys that they know the subject really well. We're going to help you to actually go deeper in the discovery, understand if there is a project, if there is a budget. That's an important thing for everyone. And if so, after we're going to really help you building the proposal and so on and so on. So that's kind of the support we are running.
And
yeah, go on.
Back to the slide I had on having that conversation. Don't look at it as a sales call. I mean, you've got everybody on this call has customers, right? So go to your customers and say, you know what, I want to sit down with you. Buy them a coffee if you don't want to spend on lunch, right? But go out there and sit down with them and just have a simple conversation and start asking them about how is technology going to affect their business going forward and what are their plans. Don't try to sell them anything. Just listen to them and they'll tell you what their plans are. And you can say, okay, I think we need to look at Dynamics customer engagement field service, Dynamics customer engagement sales. We need to look at Business Central. You'll be able to determine when that customer tells you their needs, where to go, right? Because it's a broad spectrum of products here, and it's going to be up to where that customer feels they have to go. And if you're talking to the C-level executives of these companies or the presidents of these companies, they will find the budget if they need to digitally transform their companies. They will absolutely find the budget.
Yeah, that's right. Good time that we've seen, and we know it's not a sales pitch, but when you do this kind of quarter yearly review on what they are and what they are doing, I think it's a very good timing. And like Rick say, it's not a sales pitch. It's really like for a lot of partners, you are recognized as I think a technical provider, technology provider, and I think you should get out of that as soon as you can. Don't be recognized as the PC laptop provider. Be recognized as their business advisor, and every time they have something, they come to you. Even if you cannot help all the time, you don't have the skills, but you have this network, you know how to drive the discussion, and that brings a lot of value, in my opinion. So get away from technology, go more on the business talk, and actually you're going to see that there is a lot of projects. They have a lot of things they need. And once they trust you, there are great projects that you want to be involved. That's strongly.
And many times they'll be happy to know that you're willing to do these kind of projects with them because they trust you now, and they don't want to go out and find another service provider. If you're their service provider today, they would absolutely like to deal with you first if you can do this for them.
Yeah. So looking at the question, I think we answer most of them. Some of them are too specific, so we'll follow directly with you guys. But I think it's good. Good engagement. That's great. Rick, any words to close this session?
It's a great time to get involved with this. There's lots happening. Customers are absolutely spending in this area. All the successful businesses in the world are digitally transforming today to be able to better support their customer base. So you might as well, get involved with business applications and work with a provider like ShareWeb who can give you that type of support.
Thank you, Rick. So any question, you have our contacts there, you know to reach out. If you're not ready, and I get it, sometimes your business is not there yet, keep listening. And when you are, we are here. I will be happy to help you. So thank you, Rick, a lot for joining us on that. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And we'll see you soon for a new subject. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Earl. And if anybody wants to get a hold of me, just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm on there every day.
That's great. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.